Hey everybody, it's Sherry with Cards and More by Sherry and the Supply Garden, and here we are today on day 10 of our 12 days of Christmas. Now I've been showing you a lot of cute gift items and things that you can give to people, but we're also going to be receiving things through the holidays most likely, and you'll want to send a thank you card in return. So today I'm going to show you how to make this crisscross thank you card. It's a really neat idea, and you have a pull out right here that you can flip over and write your thank you note right on the back. I deliberately chose to keep this kind of flat with embellishments so that it's easy to mail. You do have some layers here, but this should go through the mail very easily. So we're going to make this card today. Now there's all kinds of crisscross cards on the internet. Many of them are square. I happen to find someone who did one that makes a standard A2 size, and I think her YouTube channel is Baby Tweetums, something like that. I'll link it so you can get the actual thing and watch hers as well. So what I've done is I've taken an 8.5 by 11 cardstock sheet, cut it in half at 4 1/4, okay? And then we are going to, and I've lost my bone folder already and I just started. We're going to score these in half at 5.5, okay? Each piece. So there's one. And there's two. And then that's all we're going to need the scoreboard for. So what we're going to do, next you're going to need your cutter. If you prefer to do this with a straight edge and a blade or just scissors, that works as well too. So we have these two pieces that are, bend these so you can see the creases a little bit better. Alright, so we have our two pieces. These are going to overlap. So what we need to do on this side and this side is we're going to cut them diagonally, and that's how we get our two flaps that make the crisscross in the front. Alright, so we're going to take one, and let's say this is the right hand side. So we want to cut this from the score line diagonally down. I'm going to use my cutter and I'm going to line this up in my channel. I'm doing this in the evening so my light is super bad. And slice. Okay, so we have something that looks like this. Now we're going to do the opposite of that with this piece. We want to do this flap from where the score lines meet down to the corner. Same idea, we're going to load this up here. I'm going to line my points up in my cutting channel and slice that right down. Don't throw these away. These are great for punch outs, different things that you'll need. In fact, I'll show you what I use them for in a little bit. Okay. Now what you want to do is go ahead and adhere these overlaps together. And I'm just going to use my ATG gun because y'all know that I like it an awful lot. And it's a pretty strong adhesive unless you're making, you know, boxes or things that are going to have to really hold a lot of weight or something. This is a perfectly wonderful adhesive. And I'm just going to lay this down on top of here. Don't go over your score line, but go up to your score line. And lay that down. Alright, and I actually didn't get too much overlap. If you happen to not quite meet on the edge, just take your scissors and trim that off. It's no big deal. And then see, we have our flip-flop crisscrosses here. Okay, now we're going to cut some pretty paper to cover these up with. There's my other bone folder. Get that out just in case I need it. And I'm working with single-sided paper. If you were working with double-sided paper and you like the pattern on both sides, you could cut one of these and flip it and use it. But since I'm using single-sided paper, I'm going to have to cut two, and I'll show you what I mean. These two pieces to cover your triangles, you need to cut these to 5 1/4 by 4, and then we're going to slice these diagonally. Now I want this one to go on this panel, so I'm going to slice it this way. Just like we cut our flaps, I'm going to put this into my cutter, line my points up in my cutting channel, and slice that. Now, this will make more sense now why you can't use this. See how this fits on this one? But this piece isn't going to fit over here. If this were double-sided paper, you could flip, turn, and just have one piece. Okay? Does that make sense now? But since I don't have double-sided paper, I can't do that. So then on this panel, I'm going to use this paper. So I want to cut from this corner to this corner. Again, just slide that into your cutter. Match your points up in your cutting channel, or if you have a line, whatever kind of cutter you've got, however this works for you. Slice that down, and then I have my piece for my other flap. See there? Now I'm going to quickly do a little edging here, and I'm just using Distress ink. Sorry, had a brain thing. I'm not used to doing videos in the evening, and my brain's not working too well. Of course, if you don't like this look of the distressed edges or the inked edges, you certainly don't have to do it this way. I just kind of happen to be an ink fanatic and like edges inked, and the paper is a little bit rustic looking, so I'm just, you know, going with it. Okay, so just quick around there, and then I'm going to do the same thing around these. And you think it doesn't make a difference, or you think you're not seeing it, then when you actually glue it down, you will see that there is that shading along that edge, and I just happen to really like that look. But to each his own. And again, like I said, I've tried to keep these cards fairly flat. Not a lot of lumps and bumps. I just got done mailing a bunch of lumpy, bumpy Christmas cards, and that's kind of a pain. You have to put extra postage on there, and I used to even go to the trouble of writing, "Oh, please hand stamp," and take them to the post office and take them to the counter. And, you know, I used to think it made a difference, but I don't know that it does anymore. I think they just get thrown into the machines, and whatever happens, happens. Okay, so let's attach these to our panels. Again, I'm just going to use HEG. This is kind of thin paper. Alright, I want this on this panel. Oops, got an overhang there. Okay, same thing with the other one. This would make a nice too with this pull out, that it's got a pull out tag, if you will, in it. This would be kind of a neat embellishment on a scrapbook page too. You could even make them in a different size if you wanted to. I got some tape overhang. Okay, gonna put this one right here. Okay, then I'm going to take 1/8 inch score tape, and I'm going to put it all the way across from this score line. You can't see what I'm doing, can you? All the way across to this edge. Trim that off. Okay, see how I started right here and go all the way across. Going to peel that off. And this is the flap that I want on the inside, so I'm going to lay it down first. That was a fun noise. And then this one, here's your rest of your adhesive along here. And it's going to come across. and make our lovely crisscross design. See how that works? Isn't that clever? I love it. Now for our tag that goes on the inside, or our insert, whatever you want to call it, I've already put this together. I cut the craft cardstock to 5 1/4 by 3 3/4, and then the pattern paper that goes on the top is 5 by 3 1/2, and that makes our nice little insert. Slides right down in there. Okay, see how that works? Now for my pull tab, I punched a 1 1/4 inch circle, scallop circle, inked around the edges, and I'm just going to fold that bad boy in half. If you want to get all crazy and score it and figure out where the middle is, you can do that. It's just far easier for me to just fold her over. I've lost my score tape. Alright, now here's the one thing, probably the thing you need to pay the most attention to on this. You have some room here between the top of your insert and the top of your card. This is going to go in an envelope and get mailed. So when you slide your tab on there, I don't want it to go all the way down to the edge. I want to bring it back up just a little bit. But you want to make sure that it doesn't come above the edge of your card and interfere with it going in your envelope. Okay? So when you get it where you want it, which is about there, you know what? I was supposed to put score tape on this first, but we'll do it after the fact. You should have put a little piece of score tape on each flap before you went to this part. But you know what? I'm not going to be deterred by that. I'm going to just cut me a little piece of 1/8 inch score tape. Being careful not to move this. Peel that off. And still being careful not to slide our placement. Slide that down. And now we can pull that out and tape the other side. I sort of did that backwards, if you will. But you knew what I meant. Okay? Alright, we'll put some score tape on here, which is what I should have done to start with. Nothing like capturing accidents for posterity right here on film, huh? I know you forgive me, because I know you've all messed up too, right? Alright, fold that over, make sure we got some good adhesion. You know, and you wouldn't have to put pretty paper on this. If you wanted to leave this blank and just, you know, stamp something around the edge of it, you know, Merry Christmas, thank you, whatever, and just leave it blank on both sides, you most certainly could do that. I just chose to add some of this pretty paper with these trees on it. Alright? There's that part. Now, to kind of jazz up across the front, like I did on this one, I have a piece of craft cardstock that is cut to 5 3/8 by 3/4 of an inch. Then I cut another piece, same length, 5 3/8, but this is only 1/2 inch, and I mounted it on top of there. I thought about doing ribbon and wrapping it around and all that, but that's just going to add more bulk, and that's what I'm trying to get away from. Now I think this enough. I don't know which way my notes are going. Again, that might not bother anybody else, but being a musician, that bothers me if my notes are going upside down. Put a little bit of 1/2 inch score tape across the back of here so I get really good adhesion across the back. This is going to give you the look of having ribbon across there without having to actually put ribbon on there and wrap it around and have the bulk. Okay, and then also that kind of breaks up our colors here. Now for our greeting here, I have cut out with, and I think they still make this. This is the Stampin' Up! Framelits, the Labels collection, and I used the 2 smallest ones and cut matching pieces, if you will, inked them up, stamped a greeting on there, and this is what's going to go on the front. Now remember I told you to save those triangles? Here's why. See, I use them to punch out my shape and I didn't have any waste. Okay, and then I'm going to use, again, score tape on the back of this just to make sure it really sticks good, since we do have a little bit of dimension to this. And I wanted to show you also a tip about stamping greetings on things, and you want to line them up. Normally I don't bother with my Stamp-A-Majig. I do fairly well at eyeballing stuff, but because I was trying to put this on a small shape and the stamp was almost too big for it, I went ahead and pulled out my Stamp-A-Majig to use it. Now, if you're familiar with this, you know that it comes with a piece of plastic and you stamp on there and line it up and so on and so forth. I have a particular wood stamp set that's an old Stampin' Up! Set that I use a lot. What I have done to save me time of doing that part of stamping it every time on that plastic is I've taken a couple of pieces of heavyweight vellum and gone around on the edges. And if you're not familiar with this, this is how these work. You line this up with the corner, okay? Line this up in here, stamp straight down, and that's how you know where to put your greeting. Then you would line this up on top of whatever you're stamping on, okay, wherever you wanted it to be. Put this there, pull this away, and then stamp. Okay, so this is just a tip that will save you a little bit of time. If you have a set that you use a lot and you're very particular about how they line up, and sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not, I'll be real honest with you, but this is a good way to save you just a little bit of time with sets that you use a lot. Go ahead and make you a little cheat sheet, if you will, of how these line up with your Stamp-A-Majig, so when you need to use them, you're just ready to go. So there's a freebie tip for the day. Put that back in there. So here we have our crisscross thank you card. Pull out your insert and you've got all kinds of room to write on the back here, and be sure you tell the special people in your life that have sent you a gift or done something lovely for you that you appreciate the time and effort that they spent on that, and thank them. There's nothing like, in this electronic day and age, getting snail mail, in my personal opinion. Okay, that's our project for the day. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. I hope that you will like and subscribe to my channel, and also come on over to my blog and subscribe there as well. Every one of these projects that we've been doing for the 12 Days of Christmas are also being featured on my blog, and sometimes there's a little bit more information there, or vice versa, depending on the video. I hope you like these. Please like and subscribe, and have a wonderful day, you guys. Bye-bye.